this ready to begin. It's the second matchup. And so far, sticking to schedule. In the top left, we'll be having Zest, and in the bottom right, we'll be having INnoVation, Blue Protoss, Red Terran. Game number 1 of this second best of 3 in this Group B of the NetEase Esports X Winter. As we get this set up and ready to begin. So, INnoVation's looked, we've been talking about this a little bit today, but he's been looking a little bit weak in TVP lately. So kind of intrigued. I mean, I don't really know where Zest is at the moment for his matchups. Honestly, I really feel like I'm seeing less and less Zest games nowadays. It's been... I say this a lot lately, but it's really true. I just feel like I haven't seen Zest all that much lately, so... yeah, haven't been seeing much of him. As we get ourselves underway here, this is going to be a standard Reaper expansion taking on the Nexus with the core on the way, really. Again, very standard across the board. Don't think anybody has anything to be shocked about here just yet. So nothing surprising for the moment as we get this ready to begin. Still some possibility to some exciting stuff to happen for sure. And you have a Stargate actually out down the left-hand side, so there is something already from Zest a little bit funky. So he's going to proxy up the Stargate to get us going into game number 1 of this best of 3. I was going to say, Reaper coming across the map. INnoVation will try and figure out, I mean, if you can get in and see maybe a lacking pylon or so, that could be obviously good information to work with right now. Zest has, I think, actually added a second pylon anyway to try and really fake out the proxy. Zest actually has enjoyed a lot of proxy Stargate, but when we talk about proxy Stargate at the moment, I think a lot of people immediately think of, oh my god, like, Void Rays and shield batteries, but actually Zest really just likes this proxy Stargate and Oracle, and sometime even into just Phoenix production after. So yeah, we'll see very soon what or how this is gonna play out, what this will be, how this will play out. There's a couple of Stalkers still just patrolling up on this top side. We do have the Reaper making its way down the left here as well. Now the Oracle's about to pop on the Stargate. With that Oracle popping out, we absolutely get into a bit of a pressuring situation. Looks like it might just be the Oracle and not much else. It's going to find its way all the way along this bottom side now. There are Widow Mines from INnoVation. I don't think there's anything really in position, though. One Widow Mine in that main base mineral line. Zest does go into the main. The natural would have been a good place to be. There is actually nothing on the natural defensively. And now he flies into the Widow Mine range, but he gets out without taking the hit. So 2 SCVs go down. Well, that was a good save, because obviously that Oracle felt as though it might have been on the way out there very quickly if it wasn't careful. But Zest was very careful. Was very cautious about it. Marine Fire just going to put a bit of damage onto the Oracle, push it back down, and okay, I mean, not too bad, right? Not a lot gained, but not a lot lost on either side, really. As we do have the Stalkers coming through, and the Reaper taking some damage. There's a few Widow Mines up through the top trying to see if they can maybe get through for a little bit extra at the moment. So here we go. I mean, obviously now it's the first bit of harassment from INnoVation. He does keep the medevac alive into the main. First Widow Mine actually goes into a probe on the assimilator, and the second and third Widow Mine gets shot down, so that gets killed off immediately. Think about to be done from Zest. So now he's going to bring his Stalkers out across the map. A third Nexus comes in behind this map presence. I mean, this is a good amount of Stalkers. Can he really get a lot done? Like, can he push in and kill the Terror? No, probably not. It's not 4 gateways, right? But, I mean, he actually has an extra gateway added on. So, I mean, he's going to be able to warp in aggressively. If he does start to build up some momentum, he can be, he can actually keep that going. Which would not really usually happen here. He gets rid of the tank. He will get rid of the bunker. Now a stasis ward coming down to defend, or to add into kind of picking up some units. And the Raven gets shot down. And these Stalkers have a great start. The Raven at least got the auto turret down to at least try and block a little bit of damage at the front and try and force those Stalkers back a little bit further. And these few Stalkers getting stuck in the corner, but they have a blink out. So again, it's just INnoVation struggling a little bit at the moment. And these Protoss players really are giving INnoVation a hard time as of late. He obviously struggled against Showtime in Asus ROG as well. I mean, of course, these are all great players, but definitely, I mean, INnoVation, it's rare to see someone like Inno struggling so much in like a certain matchup. He has frequently, I think, INnoVation being the kind of player to say, hey, look, straight up, my TVP is kind of a, I don't like TVP. It's the matchup he's definitely talked about the most in the past. It's a rough group for him then, if that's the case, though, because he's very likely to face one of these Protoss players a second time in the decider match, right? Because, well, Trap's already won. It's just a tough group for him in general. Now, that's not saying he's lost this already. I mean, INnoVation, absolutely. I think last week we watched him play against Trap, and he lost the first game in a very derpy way, and he absolutely dominated games 2 and 3. So, absolutely not, a done deal just yet. And even this game is within playing distance. I mean, he's actually got a decent army supply, and Zest is going straight to Storm, which I do always think is a little bit more of a vulnerable way to play. So yeah, a little bit more of a vulnerable way to play, perhaps, as we do see our Storm continue to tick along at the moment. Setting that up. It's going to be seeing the charge about to finish up on the Twilight Council. A couple of gateways coming down, and a few High Templar will warp in on the front of the Natural as well. It's getting a few High Templar warped in. Ready to go. There's that Prism coming through. Stalker's on the right side. Going to get rid of another SCV, and the Marine Marauder just going to keep pushing up to the top side of this as well. Storm's about to complete. +1 attack will be done soon. The War Prism is, of course, also on the way, so we can actually see a bit of aggression from Zest building up, especially now he has charge. Obviously, Zealots and so on charging into mineral lines. He's actually going to just put the High Templar in the Prism, so he's actually just looking for a straight-up kind of full-on attack. With the High Templar in the Prism, they can stay very safe and stay out of trouble until you drop them down and look for that commitment. And INnoVation's going to run right into this army with this little bit of a drop. I mean, that's bad, because now he's going to lose 2 full, well, not 2 full medevacs, but he loses a medevac. He actually maybe could have had the second one if he targeted it, but doesn't commit. Zest is going to line up an attack up this right side now. Look to go up this ramp and try and pick off this Bioforce. There he goes. Stalker's pulling forward. Medevac goes down. INnoVation has a tank and a couple of Widow Mines nearby. That's a beautiful Storm. Hits SCVs, but it also hits a lot of the Bio that was there. And another Storm. Well, so far the Storms have been absolutely on point. Zealots continue to make their way forward. I mean, right now the issue is going to be that this third CC is burning down, and not just burning down, it is shot down out of the sky by the Stalkers. Extra Zealots warped in. There's no Zealots left. No Widow Mines left to deal with those Zealots. And that will be that to start off this series. Zest looking really, really good. Of Gold will be our second map. As Zest and Inno. Get ready to do battle. This car out, honestly, it's so loud. Catches me every time. Zest will be top right. The blue Protoss bottom left will be the red Terran INnoVation. Raise your edge Zest. Kaisi Gaming INnoVation. As we go into game number 2. Leading the series in the top right-hand side. Up 1-0. You do have the blue Protoss player. From Raise Your Edge, it is Zest. And the bottom left, Red Terran is Kaisi Gaming's INnoVation. I keep forgetting that these guys don't do proper intros, and I even did my own intros on the split screen, but then I didn't even Didn't even quite commit to it, you know? My bad, guys. That was me being a bit derpy more than anything else. As we set up into this second game, we'll see what exactly INnoVation changes to try and be that little bit safer, to be that little bit better off. I really did just run into trouble that last game. Couple of SCVs nibbling away that probe, putting some damage out. Now, INnoVation and his Open Reaper once again, so he's not a fan of this marine reactor stuff that we've been seeing a lot more of. As we have got the probe moving up to the top. Reaper is about to arrive to put some damage in. Doesn't find the probe that's on the natural as the Adept shades down. No pressure across the map from Zest then. Early on in this one, he goes straight to Twilight Council, so no Stargate this time around. I mean, I didn't see the Stargate did fine last time. It didn't do a lot, but it was, you know, it was a low commitment anyway, right? Just the Stargate, one Oracle. It wasn't like he built a whole bunch of stuff off of it. As our Adept continues to chase down to the bottom side here. Manson's about to finish up in that natural. Reaper and the Marine ready to jump into the bunker. Blink coming through, extra gate on the way down. Nothing surprising yet. We'll see how many gates. I mean, there's no robos. This should just be 2 or 3 gate expand, or if we see some gases, then a robo bay. But yeah, 2 gates robo. Keep an eye out exactly what's gonna happen. People talking about. I like this comment from the chat because I kind of agree. People talking about INnoVation like he's washed up or something, but he beat Rogue Trap and Bjorn in the past week alone. I know people. Someone earlier said INnoVation is having a really bad year. It's not surprising about something like this. And I'm like, well, he's 5th in the Korean standings for ESL points. This is just a fast third for Zest. Like, he's 5th place in ESL Pro Tier standings. Like, that's not a bad year. He's been round of 8 GSL minimum every season. Like, you know, he's doing really well. I mean, I know I just went on to rate about his TVP not looking hot, but he has had a little bit of trouble with TVP the last week or so. A little bit more than other matchups. But other people out here being like, man, INnoVation, is he ever going to win anything again? I'm like, well, yeah, he's pretty freaking good still, you know? I don't know where this is coming from. It's kind of wild. Blink finishes on the Twilight Council. The next is going to be finishing up on the top side, 12 o'clock base in a few moments' time, so Zest getting that wrapped up already. The Widow Mine's already burrowing up into the mineral line here. This time, actually, a bit of a better Widow Mine setup. Last game, he actually didn't get any kills with the Widow Mines. He does lose them here for a probe, but he also got a sentry, which is also a nice... It's a really great pick-off, right? Picking off a sentry like that? It's a nice little way to get some damage done, for sure. So yeah, I don't think he'll be too upset about it. Obviously, he gets to see what's going on as he just go for a bunch of racks himself. So we'll 3 racks into a later 3cc. We'll see if he takes that opportunity to then maybe put any damage onto the map or anything along those lines. Definitely a few possibilities as what could happen in the future of this game. Now, there's a bunch more gates from Zest. He's actually one of these players that still really enjoys frequently playing the higher gateway count, like charge lot Archon sort of setup. Like, there's not a lot of people that play this kind of anymore. Like, a lot of Blink Stalker charge lot, and then you go into Archons. Yeah, not a lot of people really play like that anymore, but Zest really still loves it, and he does it frequently. And he mixes it up as well. He also plays some Colossus follow-ups and stuff like that, but I would really say it really is a case of he's been doing a lot more of these more aggressive setups, and it really is nice because you can obviously arrive at a point where you can get across the map, you can put yourself in a position to really kind of catch units. It's really good offensively against an aggressive set of units moving forward a lot of the time as well. So you can actually really kind of use it in multiple ways. INnoVation is 3CCing it up now in the main. 5 racks on the way very quickly as well, though, so continue to make some progress toward that as he's got a full wall on the front, so he's actually pretty safe in case S wanted to attack into him. Don't think there should be any issues there at all. As our Stalker's all setting up into the middle. And just waiting to see the commitment. Yeah, I mean, INnoVation, if he wants to move out, you can already see that Prism is poised on the left-hand side. The second you move out, Zest is going to strike with the Zealots into the main base. But you can see the preparation here from INnoVation. He's got Marines and a turret coming up there. And Zest's Prism has to turn around. So he is very aware of what is going on. And he's very aware of what's happening in that. Which is good. Doesn't get caught off guard at all. As now the Marines continue to hunt that Prism down if it tries to come in from a different direction or anything along those lines. So far just will not be allowed to. Of course, it means INnoVation's army isn't exactly progressing across the map, and we're seeing this more in TvP where we actually just kind of go to 3 bases and we set up there before we actually see the first push from a Terran player. Just because every time they move out any earlier than this, the Prism shows up, they lose an entire mineral line, and the Zealots just continue to harass them to death. So it has become an alteration in the way that Terrans play to really just be a lot more passive initially. And to really just, I mean, you can see what INnoVation's doing, right? Masses of tanks. So his game plan is to really just say, right, I'm just going to have a huge amount of tank fire and really take advantage of positions. Now, there's a lot of high ground, ledges, and choke points you can utilize on this map to absolutely make those tanks worthwhile. I'd be surprised if we didn't see some pretty good usage out of all of that, as we do have our army out down the bottom side. So it says he's maybe going to get aggressive. Now, tanks are well set up on the 3rd, but actually, toward the nat, they're not really down the low ground, so you might be able to get a cancel on this 4th command center that's building. So INnoVation might be slowed down there. Yeah, he has to cancel that right away, and Zest says, well, that's pretty much all I'm going to find with this push-in. So he's already turned back around and is moving away from it. A little bit of a stim around is just going to be seeing the army of Zest up around the top is moving over the left-hand side. That's already charging through. A couple of storms dropped down. The bio army taking some hits from that, but it's obviously not the biggest chunk of bio. It's just a little bit that's trying to zone out the front. He actually loses a High Templar to the tank shot from a distance. What was that sound? What was that death sound? I know the death sounds a bit funky over here, but that was kind of crazy. Like, hello? The hell was that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I really don't know what that was. That was interesting to say the least. Zealots, Immortals, Archons, all the rest of it just going to pick through these rocks. As Zest backs away, then he gives INnoVation a bit of space to work with, and obviously just setting up onto his 4th base. Even a 5th base already coming through. I mean, it kind of feels like we're going late. INnoVation's going Ghosts. Zest is building 3 Disruptors at a time, plus a Stargate, so really thinking about even transitioning up toward carriers here potentially soon. Well, you can't really blame him, can you? Can't really blame him for the way this is currently setting up. Bio around the bottom side, picking away at a couple of Stalkers already. As those Zealots will go down, Disruptor Shot going to reach the Siege Tank here. So tank goes down, the turret gets picked off, and a Sensor Tower out on the bottom side of the map. So again, the Sensor Tower down. He just built double Sensor Tower, which I don't think is intentional. There's obviously no reason to have double the Sensor Tower coverage on the bottom of the map. And INnoVation is really just not attacking. Like, he's really just sat back. He's just going to let Zest run into him. Of course, Zest just says, well, cool, because I'm not going to overcommit because I'm on my way to extra Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. So Zest's position in this game is only improving. These Disruptor shots firing there will do okay. I mean, nothing overly outstanding. Army of INnoVation out up to the top side. Ghosts, Bio Army. All of this getting set up together. Disruptor shot doesn't quite reach. INnoVation still just defending, setting up, new command center getting ready. We continue to move around on the left-hand side, and just going to be seeing the full Liberators setting up again. Let's continue to put some work out right now as we see our 4 carriers at a time. I mean, INnoVation, as mentioned, is just playing very, very passive. I wonder what his game plan is, though, because when carriers and disruptors are up, this really becomes a composition which seems very difficult to beat. Carriers through the top side, disruptors setting up as well. You have a Marine just going to go and catch a Prism over here. So Prism taking some damage, a random Ghost is caught, and maybe it's the Ghost that make that sound. Is setting up in towards the into the nuke. So obviously looking to use those Ghosts to try and nuke around the map and to try and pick Zest apart a bit. Obviously INnoVation just takes 5 bases, and he's building a bank as well. I mean, this is all well and good for INnoVation. As long as he can trade against the carrier army, that will remain to be the issue. That will remain to be the question. That's what we kind of have to look at as. And in fact, Viking up in the sky, going to pull back down to the bottom. Shot here is going to clean up that nuke with a lot of ease. I mean, that's no issue at all. Yeah, Zest, I really just like where Zest is going to overall, because I do think that eventually INnoVation's army just doesn't really contest Zest. He's got a lot of bank to build back up. I mean, we'll see how the fights turn out, but right now I'm not seeing it. So just fire an anti-armor missile drops down. Bio's going to chase, or turn and chase, and well, I say Bio's going to chase, sorry. Bio turns to fight, but the Protoss army is going to chase in, and Man, there's just so many carriers here. I just don't understand how this is going to go. Continue to push forward. A couple of EMPs going down. Not really able to connect on much. Disruptor shot's going to fly, but not quite connect. You see more and more disruptors flying through. The Immortals coming in and just going to be having our carriers just going wild. INnoVation just has no way to fight this. And honestly, I mean, I said it a lot on the leader, but like, I didn't see how he was ever going to fight that, and he just didn't. Like, it just felt like INnoVation had no game plan. Or like the game plan was just to defend, but then he had no plan on what to do once the Mega Army came up from... Like, I just really don't know what he was planning there. I mean, it just didn't even feel like he had a hope in the fight. Hey guys, this is just a super quick in-between just to say that the previous series, that 2-0 from Zest, was the first match that these two played in this group. After the winner and eliminations match was played, they met once again, and that's what this next best of 3 in this very same video is going to be. Enjoy. We kick this off. We have got in the bottom right-hand side Zest, the Blue Protoss player. He really just played very well earlier. And really played a solid series to get that victory over INnoVation, our red Terran top left-hand side. It's going to be seeing our SCV chasing the probe around. And the probe just running around the natural a little bit. Seeing what's up. He just had a baby and he doesn't sleep. You feel my pain? Yeah, no, it's honestly just been like a weird couple of days. Like, it's just been a big... It's mostly just the fact that these events are starting so early, so it's just completely off from what I usually do. That's the only problem. And then there's just so many events as well, so it's not like you just wake up early one day and it's, you know, you go to sleep after. There's other events taking place as well, so it really is a bit wild. Anyway, all good. What's up next, Phil? Thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. What's up, Impact OT, for the Prime sub? Appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. I was going to see Twilight Council opening here from Zest, as we'll see him opening into Blink. So he was pretty much Blink heavy early, and he used this the Blink Stalkers to get himself into some very strong positions, into very good positions. Just a very comfortable setup for himself in general. Blink is on the way up, so when you see that, and it's the second gateway, so it looks as though we'll just be moving into the fast third. That's what Zest seems to like doing. It really allows him fast third base to then just move into Blinkstalker Zealot, so Blinkstalker Charge Lot. He really seems to like that combination. As you do see the Stalker Adept out the front here, hanging around. Trying to come through. Stalker and Adept are going to be a little slow to save the day, so there's going to be a probe kill, which is nice. You get a probe, you also get a scout, right? You see the Twilight on your way in, so you finally get confirmation as INnoVation as to what exactly is going on here. I think we'll be done in just a few moments' time. It's going to be seeing our Raven coming up, going to be finishing in just a couple of seconds. So getting this wrapped up. Starport off to the left side. Rax will drop on the tech lab. And comes out down to the natural, just going to be seeing Stim on the way, as mentioned previously. Depot Wall continues to build. I think that's essential against Zest. He likes to go into that charge very quickly, and there it is. I think it's important against us, and it's something we've been seeing seen INnoVation doing consistently against us so far today. So, the big thing right now is I do think we need to have INnoVation be more aggressive. He was extremely passive against Zest earlier, and he just let him go up to carriers without having any way of dealing with carriers. So we need that. That needs to be fixed 100%. If anything is going to go well here, that needs to be fixed, because you just can't sit back. You can't let Zest get to carriers and then not have anything to even fight carriers. Like, he had a couple ghosts and he had a few Vikings, just nowhere near the numbers of any of those that he really needed them to be in, which made it a pretty one-sided affair. And then we didn't really have a very good time, and INnoVation's games were a little bit uninteresting to watch when that happened. Now this time he is going to send the Raven out at least. So the Raven to begin with is going to try and scout around a little bit. Thanks, Marines Marauders at the top side. Prism into the main base, a few adepts. Well, an adept and a few stalkers are going to unload. This is why INnoVation's scared to move out, though, because every time he moves out, the prism shows up. That's definitely one thing he tried to deal with back on the second map that they played. He put his turret up and he put his Marines in position, and he did a great job. But then he still never actually got to move across the map, so he still ran into the same problem. The same thing was still problematic. Let's see our bio down the left side. Immortal coming up, a few probes still coming in. Sentries, Immortals out on front of that third base. Prison lifts up what I can. A couple of Stalkers in some trouble as INnoVation with the big push down the bottom side. See, I like this. I like this aggression. Some Widow Mines, some tanks. This might put actually Zest in a bit of trouble. No upgrades from Zest. Is INnoVation going to show up? And, well, Super Battery's activated immediately. But I tell you what, the first Zealots went down there really quickly. And now Super Battery just gets killed. The flanking Prism, though. Zealots are going to come in from the side. The Widow Mines actually kind of protect the siege tanks. But the triple Immortal is putting some good damage in as well. The Immortals are going to be the MVPs of this, aren't they, in the end? The Zealot drop is actually pretty cool, too, because it uses up the Widow Mines in a less efficient way than usual, at least. Nicely done from Zest. Good defense when he really needed it. INnoVation, a third phase behind this. As we get that up and running. A couple of Medivacs just going to be moving out the front, and Stalkers still set up on the left. Storm is beginning. Battery is going to go down with the cannon as well. Never mind, the main base is about to target down High Templar. They morph into an Archon to save the day. So High Templar don't get blown up, but that was a scary moment or two. For a second, I actually thought they were going to go down. That was absolutely a little bit scary. All right, well, as we set up. And to have the army of INnoVation still pushing. So he's staying aggressive. He's now got a huge swell of units. I think that's the boys being pulled as he stims through the storms to get on top of this. Well, Super Battery is active once again. Lets the Widow Mines decimate a bunch of units. Now he's going to have the SCV frontline to tank the Zealots, but boys, there's still a lot of those Zealots. And another storm comes down. I think the storms will definitely help to shut this down indeed. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, set up a third bit. I mean, this is kind of close still. INnoVation is starting to get that army supply advantage you want in this position. The cannon is something that helps a lot in this scenario as well. Battery down. Prism micro on the Immortals. The Liberator is cute, but you don't have any real splash damage here. The Immortal goes down. Now it's kind of just Stalkers. One immortal left. The Prism still microing its heart out at the moment, trying to do anything it can. Pushing down this bottom side. Widow Mines. Not finding an opportunity just yet. He's gonna... Ooh, he blows up all the medevacts by warping in the cells on top of them. I mean, that was funky. Okay. Okay. Bio gonna continue fighting. Gonna jump on another battery. And this third base of Zest is gonna go down. Now 55 to 15 army supply. The big push from INnoVation is seemingly working here at the end. Wow, I thought this was a really impressive hold from Zest. And I think it truly was. It was maybe even a more impressive follow-up from INnoVation. To make this even have a chance of working is, like I said, I think genuinely impressive. Genuinely impressive. That was just wow. It was super close, honestly. What a way to begin as we go into game number 2. Jagannatha. Top right corner of the map will be the blue Protoss Zest. Bottom left corner will be the red Terran INnoVation. And INnoVation goes up 1-0. Finally gets a map win against Zest today. And, well, he did what he didn't do earlier. He moved out onto the map. He actually got stuff done. He got out on the map. He got some damage done. It was a job well done. In the end, as INnoVation leads this 1-0 going into game 2 right here. Very droppable map. I actually really like this map for Terran Bio player because I really do think a lot of the drop play and stuff can do very well on this one. So interested to see what we do get out of it. Zest, a very early probe down this right side. Looks as though he was just checking for proxies and then went further than he was really intending to initially. In the end, just going to drop that Nexus down. So nothing aggressive yet, of course. Zest is really quite fond of the proxy Stargate single Oracle. We've seen that very frequently. SCV is mining away in this main. We do have our Reaper just about halfway done from INnoVation at the moment. And we'll follow this across the map as it looks to pick up some information here. Looks to see what exactly is going on. It's going to find the pylon. That's a pretty fantastic start. The probe's just over there. I'm just going to say, okay, I'm just going to start on the pylon. So that's a really good scout for INnoVation. That really already starts to shut down the plan of whatever Zest had to go for here. So that's a nice find. Going to be seeing the pylon chipped away at, and I mean, even if you just kill the pylon early, right? That's the pylon that Zest built that he's now going to have to build a different one of to make up for losing it. So it's problematic. He just built the Stargate at home in the end, so it isn't the worst thing in the world, but obviously it saves a lot of potential problems for INnoVation. So gets rid of that pylon, cleans that up. Oracle is on the way up from Zest here. As that warp gate is just about halfway along. Again, those couple of extra racks will be finishing up fairly soon. So INnoVation straight to extra barracks. So really hasn't wasted time at all in setting up the barracks count. I think is very, very reasonable to note. I think that's a big part of this. And he's going to go very aggressive very early. So a very different setup to previously. To be fair, he's not been finding a ton of damage with some of the previous attempts of being aggressive with the stuff that we've seen. So again, I can get behind this one as we do have the Reaper finally cleaned out as it came in a little bit too far into that natural to get away. Yeah, guys, obviously INnoVation is up 1-0. Usually they put a scoreboard up, but it seems like they've not put the scoreboard up here in game number 2 for whatever reason. So we don't have that scoreboard open right now. So I apologize for that. Obviously, this is 1-0 for INnoVation as it stands. I can't update the scoreboard. I'm watching this off a clean feed, so I can't do anything to. I can't help. I can't fix it myself. Otherwise, trust me, I absolutely would. I promise you guys, I absolutely would have done. So yeah, there we go. Literally as we're talking about, there it is. 1-0 for INnoVation. They've actually fixed the scoreboard to be a bit better sized as well, so I'm a fan of that. Fits the overlay a bit better. So INnoVation leads this 1-0, guys. And there it is now on the... It's almost like they were listening to you guys. Maybe they're watching the English stream. The Chinese producers watching the English stream to find out what needs fixing. I see how it is. Getting all the valuable feedback over here. Couple depots going up and down. As you will see, a forge on the way up from Zest. I think going to be finishing up fairly soon. Is coming in the front. Just going to be having just picking away at a couple of depots. SCVs are going to come in, and that is a dead depot already. So depot already down. Forge about to finish up. Combat shields about to be done. Concussive shells on the way in as well. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this faster bio setup can do from INnoVation. I mean, so far just playing defensively, now moving into tanks. Not really getting too much out of it just yet, but I'm happy to wait and see. I'm happy to believe in whatever happens here. As we continue to get going, a couple medevacs on the way out. So this is going to be the first time we see this bio army ready in a proper push out. Pause from Zest. Hopefully a small minor issue, not a big deal. We've seen some pretty quick pauses earlier. Looks like we're going back to the studio. Yeah, resume pretty quickly. Let's do have our stalkers out the front, gonna get pushed away. Cyclone goes down, and a bit of bio chasing now. It's gonna catch a stalker already, actually. So a stalker goes down. That's a nice little catch indeed. Seeing our other stalkers continue to be pushed away as INnoVation's making his way out up to the top side of the map. I'm a little bit worried for Zest. He's down 25 army supply. I mean, these 3 tanks are going to be difficult to get rid of, and now INnoVation's going to get rid of the battery, so you can't overcharge. Well, the battery was actually blocking the zealots. Let's just lose this game. INnoVation looking really good at the moment. He's going to get rid of the Templar Archives. He might even get rid of the +1 attack. He's absolutely going to get rid of the +1 attack. I don't know what Zest was waiting for specifically. Like, I don't know what's finished that now. He now says, right, now's the time to go. I feel like he's already just lost all the important stuff that would have been worth committing into the fight to try and save. As the Zealots go down, this fight turns very quickly, because the moment the Zealots go down, INnoVation is going to chew through Stalkers, and the supplies are going to drop horribly. Okay. Fire from INnoVation pushes up through the center. I know, continue to make our way along for the moment, and just seeing our next INnoVation army. I mean, already on the top side, the Stalker's going to try and make INnoVation turn around a bit, but not sure that's really the best way to go about this. Fire coming up. Widowmine's going to do massive damage here. You can just see the way they were set up. They were going to start connecting in on a whole chunk of those Zealots, and as the Zealots go down, well, I repeat my previous sentiment. He chews through the Stalkers at that point very quickly, very easily. And everything just starts to drop down dead. Gets up to the top side, a couple more Zealots in trouble. Widowmine's connecting once again. Bio Army pushing Zealots and Stalkers all around the place, and again, just too much from INnoVation. Zest really fell apart this series. Compared to the earlier series that INnoVation played against us, it's like it's almost unbelievable to believe that these two matches were played on the same day. Like, the complete turnaround from INnoVation is almost the most impressive part of this. GG's, INnoVation wins our last match.